Hi and welcome to the Zone.
We're back again.
This is the Fantasy Football Zone, your home
for everything fantasy football.
All right. Hi and welcome to the Zone. This is the Fantasy Football Zone, your home for everything fantasy football. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. Gentlemen, welcome. Ideal guy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to the show.
All right, and today we have a new special guest with us, Mr. Elmer254. You can find him on YouTube. He also has a fantasy channel doing some great content up there. Mr. Elmer, say hi to the people.
Hi, how all of you doing? I hope you're all having a great day and waiting for game week 7.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you on the show. Thank you for making the time to join us. And we're looking forward to a really good show with you on board, Elmer.
Yeah, I'm also looking for a great show, yeah.
All right. So, ideal guy, I think without much further ado, maybe we can just kick right off. Of course, today we are doing the preview show for game week 7. At this point in time, I think the Premier League is heating up. It's starting to heat up, but then also
it's shaping up as well.
Yeah, it's shaping up, but then also there are some people who, we still don't have some definition yet in the league, because as you can see on the table, number 1 has 14 points. Then we have 13 points from number 1 all the way to number 6. Is it? Yeah, and then after 13 points, then there's 11 points, 10 points. So
there's like 9.
Yeah, we have to see some definition. It's still too early in the game to call it. I think what can tell us how early it is the fact that last month Tottenham were top of the table, Arsenal were bottom of the table, and 3 game weeks later, and Arsenal is above Tottenham at the table. I mean, you can't write this stuff up. You can't make this
just
stuff
the way
up.
It's supposed to be. Just the way it's supposed to be.
All right. Thank you. So we'll jump right into it. So game week 7 is upon us. And let's look at some of the fixtures. Let's see what is being served up for us to enjoy this game week. Interestingly, this game week has only 2 game days. That's Saturday and Sunday, which I like. I don't usually like Monday Night Football. I don't like it when the game week stretches to Monday. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
No, I mean, to be honest, it's normally a bit of a stretch, especially the anxiety of not knowing how the team is gonna perform, how your team is gonna perform, and how you just wake up on a Tuesday morning with red arrows. That's the worst thing.
And you have only this one player who you're waiting to play on Monday, and it's like you're so anxious because now all your expectations are pegged on him. Elmer, what do you think about Monday Night Football?
It's not the greatest to have Monday Night Football, but I usually prefer Friday nights. Yeah.
Friday night is good.
No, actually Friday is better than Monday. Let's start this thing. Let's get it over with by Sunday so that we can just know where we stand and make different plans for the next week. All
That's
right,
right.
so yeah, game week 7, like as I was saying, has 2 game days. On Saturday, as you can see, we'll be having 6 games on Saturday, and the early kickoff again for the second time in a row. Manchester United are serving us the early kickoff of game week 6 and game week 7. And I don't know if the results will be the same as the last early kickoff, but this time they are facing off against Everton. They're at home to Everton. Elma, the resident Manchester United fan, I'll let you take this one. What's happening with Manchester? What is your diagnosis?
For me, with the Manchester United, I think Ole is not the right guy for that kind of team. We have a strong team, and you're performing so poorly.
I like how you
supposed
guys are turning on Ole now.
Wait, you mean Ole is not supposed to be at the wheel?
no,
It's supposed to
it's
be
performing
wheeled away.
because we can't be having Ronaldo on the pitch and still not score goals. It's unacceptable, because he was the guy who was supposed to come score goals. But now with the way we are playing, I don't think he's getting the service we need. So I think during the weekend, I think we're also going to draw.
No, but Elma, surely, is it Ole Gunnar who's supposed to provide Cristiano? See, Bruno Fernandes and Jadon Sancho and all these guys are in the pitch. How is Ole Gunnar supposed to come and make sure Ronaldo gets service? Honestly.
Well, like if Ole is the one putting the tactics on the pitch, yeah. So if he tells the guys to defend, they're going to defend. And I don't think he gives the tactics for attacking. I think defensively we are okay, but attacking wise, it's poor. Especially the midfield, we don't have providers, because you see McTominay and Fred, they're playing every week, and they are also poor.
You have Bruno Fernandes. The only better provider than Bruno Fernandes is Jesus. Only Jesus can provide better than Bruno at this point in time.
He can't work alone. He can't work alone in the midfield.
Yeah, but so you also have Pogba, who's really putting in some good stats this season. But yeah, I hear you.
Pogba is playing on the wrong position, man. We bought Sancho. He's not playing. Sancho can play on the left, so I don't know why he keeps on playing Pogba at the left, which is not ideal for him. I think he loves playing in the mid and working with Bruno, which is helpful for the team, because at the moment I'm not seeing anything good with the team. And now we have injuries like Shaw and Maguire. So I don't know which defense you're going to play there. I don't know if he's going to go to a back 5 that has security. It's going to be interesting to see the lineup on Saturday. But I'm not
well, you have
optimistic.
I mean, to be fair, you have Alex Telles, you have Bailly can go in there, you have Lindelof can still go in there at the end of the day. So I think still a back 4. But this is my diagnosis with Man United. I think there was an overwhelming feeling about Cristiano coming in, and they're just now recovering from that. And now the reality is starting to hit of what the Premier League is about. That's my diagnosis about Man United at the moment.
All right, I think we'll. Yeah, you wanted to add something?
I was saying regarding still someone like Telles, he's not good defensively. We saw against West Ham the way he was passed so easily. So I'm not so sure on him. Yeah.
No, but when you guys were buying Telles, you are not talking about his defensive stats. You remember he had scored 13 penalties in was it Benfica? These guys were like, "Hey, we are getting a striker on the left back." Anyway, all right.
That's true. True.
So that's the first fixture for Saturday, the early kickoff. Manchester United against Everton. That's a very big game for Manchester United. A bit later on in the show, we'll talk about the FPL potential of that match. But some exciting
Everton are looking good as well.
There. No, definitely. Definitely Everton are looking good. Rafa Benitez is doing some good work with Everton.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second game, 5 o'clock kickoff, Burnley against Norwich. Like we were saying, this is a match for the desperados. These guys, I think, have you watched Shaolin Soccer? The way those guys used to come to the pitch with even wrenches and nyundos, because this is,
Nakala.
yeah, you remember when they touted the Arsenal and Norwich match to be the battle of relegation.
But
This is the
relegation,
true.
but
This
to
is
be
the
fair, it
true
was.
battle of relegation. No, it was not a true depiction of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
title. You know, this
That's
this is
right.
a truer depiction of that title. Both these teams lie bottom of the league at this point. Norwich sitting comfortably with 0 points, and Burnley, at least they have 2 points. So yeah, that's gonna be a war. It's going to be war out there.
Yeah,
Not so
definitely.
much FPL potential from that match. I doubt there's anyone with a Norwich player in their team. Burnley, possibly the few with the likes
No,
of
but
Chris
our
Wood.
boy has Pookie. Pato
Who
has
has
Pookie.
Pookie?
Our
Oh,
boy
oh
Pato has
yeah,
Pookie.
oh yeah. No, that's why
Hoping for
that's why
pity
he's
party.
that's why he's experiencing Norwich kind of results also, or Norwich inspired results. I think that's what we
Norwich
should call
inspired results.
them. But yeah, okay. So yeah, that's the second match. The third one will be what? I can't see the screen.
Chelsea,
Oh yeah,
Southampton.
Chelsea Southampton. That's a mouth-watering fixture, and we'll look at this fixture in depth because a lot of guys are jumping onto Chelsea assets, looking at this
Yeah,
fixture as if it's a walk in the park for Chelsea. It could
that's right.
be, or it could not
Could
be.
not be.
Southampton are quite unpredictable at this point in time, considering they held Man City to a 0-0 draw. But then, of course, they're not having the best season also,
Yep.
or the best start to a season also. They're struggling quite a bit
Yep.
because they currently lie what? They lie 16th with only 4 points in the
Yeah.
league. So
However, I mean, to be fair to them, they held Man City to a 0-0. So definitely defensively, they're kind of good.
yeah, but then they'll be playing Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge, which yeah, could or could not be. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a bit
Yeah.
more from
Yeah.
an FPL point of view. And then, which is the other match?
When
Yeah, Leeds
Watford.
against Watford. That should be an exciting game to watch. Should
Yeah.
be an exciting game to watch. I expect it to be filled with goals and fanfare. What do you think, Elma, about Leeds and Watford?
I think if Rafinha is on his game, I think they'll do well. But I think they're missing the Bamford presence up front. So
Yeah,
I'm
for
not so
sure.
sure. Yeah. So unless Rafinha performs well, and he might be injured. So if he performs well, I think it's going to be good. Even when on the opposite side, when Sar performs well, I think also Watford are going to be good. It's going to be a good game to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah,
both
it
attacking
definitely.
teams.
And it's interesting that both their what's the word, danger men. Is it left wingers? Oh, right
Right
wingers.
wing, I think it's
Rafinha
yeah.
plays off of the right,
Right
right?
wing. Right wing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right wingers. The
I
danger
see
men for both
goals.
these teams are right wingers.
I see goals in this game as well.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, Leeds are still looking for their first win as well of the campaign. So gonna be an interesting match.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Leeds faithfuls are kind of panicking a bit because with the brand of football they play, with the quality of the manager they have and the team that they have put together, it is almost unbelievable that 6 game weeks in, they are yet to experience a victory. I'm sure they're looking at themselves and wondering, what do we need to do? So
Yeah.
definitely billing out to be a very interesting match. And then, of course, the other mid-table battle is Wolves facing off against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Wolves, of course, finally got off the mark with Raul Jimenez goal to clinch them the win. That was last game week. And now, of course, they're coming against a Alan Saint Maximin, rejuvenated Saint Maximin Newcastle side. But interestingly, in this Newcastle side, there's one player who we are not talking about who's grossly underperforming. We're talking about Joe Willock.
Willock, yeah. I mean, he was immense
true.
towards the end of last season, and at the moment we're definitely seeing nothing. I mean, from him, whether FPL wise, whether just form wise, I don't know. I don't know what's really happening in there, but I think generally in Newcastle there is actually a problem. They need to just solve, especially to get a lot of goals that they need.
Yeah, Newcastle have a good team. I think Wilson is still out injured, right?
Yep.
Of course, that's affecting their goal output. Joe Linton isn't quite living up to being a Wilson replacement in no way, shape, or form. But then Maximin is arguably in the form of his life. I mean, this guy is making us forget Adama Traore. He's now running rings around teams in the Premier League. He's such an exciting player.
He is.
I would like to see him in a big club, like the likes of Man City, Tottenham. Not Man City. I don't think he would end up at Man City, but Tottenham definitely. He would end up at a Tottenham.
Or an Everton.
An Everton, even a Man United. I mean, it's not like they're doing. It's not like they have much better.
We have Rashford there already.
Elma, like not for you, Maximin, not for you. I honestly wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind having him at Arsenal. I would do a quick swap with Pepe. I would do a quick swap with Pepe. I would give them Pepe. I would give them Pepe for Maximin. At least I'll see exciting football. At least he knows how to complete dribbles compared to Pepe.
Pepe is just a dancing something.
Yeah, and the last game for Saturday will be Brighton Hove Albion at home to the rejuvenated Arsenal. This is also another interesting fixture to look forward to. Brighton also are having the start of their lives into a season so far. They are sitting pretty in, I think, position 5, and if you saw that Monday night football game against Crystal Palace, their fate was almost sealed. It looked like a clean 1-0 loss until lo and behold, out of nowhere, Neil Maupay, appears from the ashes or from the shadows.
What a goal!
To steal a point, and it's honestly it's the confidence for me. When you look at it was the last minute. Of course, the pressure has already piled up, and this guy had the confidence. He had the finesse, the composure, to be like, I don't need to rush this, and calmly slots it past Kuyata in the most classiest of ways.
No, that was a good one. But again, they played a good game as well. It was a very good game. It just deserved the 1-1. Yeah.
No, but honestly, Brighton were totally outplayed in that match. If you saw that game, I watched that game. They were totally outplayed. They were totally outplayed.
And I mean, they had moments. They had moments that deserved a goal or so, but which were of course put out. But of course, Crystal Palace played a better all-round game, definitely. But Brighton are flying. I don't expect them to stay there forever. They're flying. However, I think Arsenal is gonna put them to the sword.
But also Brighton have been a thorn in Arsenal's flesh for the recent past, or the most memorable past. They have been a thorn in Arsenal's flesh, especially that away fixture where Brighton are at home. It has not been the easiest place for Arsenal to go hunting in the recent past. So let's wait and see if Mikel Arteta has actually really turned a corner, So those are basically the games for Saturday. And then Sunday, we'll come along with some 4 fixtures where we have Crystal Palace against Leicester City. Another, blockbuster game. I feel like it should be an interesting game. Leicester are looking for how many games have Leicester won this season? Who remembers? 2
or 3. I think it's actually
not living up to expectations.
No, it's actually 2. It's actually 2.
Yeah.
They've won 2 and drawn 1.
Drawn one. Yeah.
They're sitting at position 13. I
Yeah.
mean, nobody expected Leicester to have this kind of start into the season.
Yeah.
What's their problem? What do you think?
I think defensively. Defensively, they think they're conceding a lot. Yeah, and I mean, we knew Leicester, of course, for I think being a bit stronger defensively last season. I think that's why they were able to as well rack up points. This season, they're not really living up to that. So yeah, I think defensively, it's a big issue as well.
But it's funny because they actually strengthened defensively, getting Jan Vestergaard from Southampton, and we thought that was a blockbuster of a transfer. But yeah, I guess he's taking time to settle in. Also, the likes of Madison, he's having a weird one. He's really struggling into
Yeah,
the season.
and
6
to
game
think
weeks
we almost
in,
bought him.
yeah, to imagine. But he's a good player, so I think it's just form and whatever. But he'll definitely come good. He'll definitely come good. But yeah, you saw Vardy star in that 2-2 draw against Burnley, scoring as well for Burnley. You know, this guy is on a roll. It's like he doesn't care which side he's scoring, as long as he's scoring.
You get one. You get
Yeah.
one.
So we are
get
looking at
one.
a rejuvenated Jamie Vardy. Hopefully,
Yeah.
maybe if he's on fire, that can be a decider in this match for sure.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Leicester and Crystal Palace early kickoff. Actually, 3 matches will be kicking off at the same time. Tottenham versus Aston Villa. I mean, this one, Tottenham need to come with machine guns. They need to come with witch doctors. They need to assemble every force they can because they can't afford to lose this one. What do you think, Elma?
I think this will be the time to see Harry Kane come to life now.
Yeah.
I think his season will start. This weekend. He needs to score goals. Also, Son needs to bring his A game. I know Son has been good, but I think he needs to perform more. And also, Dele Alli needs to show how good he was back in the days. So I hope he also brings his A game to the team. I think they'll do well. Yeah, they'll do well.
Yeah, I feel like I agree.
The thing for me, Tottenham is the midfield. I think the balance between the midfield, defense, and strike. I think there's a big problem in the balance, especially if you saw that Arsenal game, him starting with 2 number 10s, Ndombele and Ali. That was a bit of a, there's no balance, and I feel even the balance between the defense and the midfield. I think there's a very big gap. I think they just don't know. They're yet to find the roles with which they need to actually play in that Nuno setup. So they'll definitely come around. Nuno is a good coach. I hope they don't come around now. Still, especially for the banter that I need to have with Tottenham. But I think they're definitely gonna come around. They need to have a very honest conversation with themselves about where they're going. And they're facing an Aston Villa team who is good, just from beating Man United.
Yeah, but I agree with Elma. I feel like this will be the match where Kane finally says enough is enough. These things are not gonna happen as if I'm not here. So actually, that's one of the conversations we will have when we're looking at the captain conversation. Because yes, Aston Villa is not a walk in the park in terms of when you look at the FDR rating of this fixture. It's not a green. It's not an obvious green for Tottenham. But then also the circumstances prevailing, I feel like Tottenham at this point are pushed to a corner, are backed into a corner, and they will have to respond. And it might be to the detriment of Emi Martinez, dancing Emi Martinez. So the move he pulled. Quickly just to finish, we have West Ham facing off Brentford, another mouth-watering fixture, especially from an FPL point of view. Brentford have shown us what they are bringing to the table in the league. They're not going to be pushovers. So everyone who's trying to jump onto Captain Antonio should know that it's not so obvious. But then we'll talk about that in depth. But that's definitely looking to be a very amazing fixture. And our feature match for game week 7, This is the game, of course, another potential title decider. Like I said last week, Chelsea versus Man City was a potential title decider, and you saw where the momentum shifted to. And now we have yet another one, which is more or less a title decider. The reason I'm calling it that is because these are the three teams that are pitted to, battle it out for the league this season. It's either Chelsea's or Man City's or Liverpool's, So whenever they play each other, it's more or less a 6-pointer or a title decider. What do you guys think? Chelsea versus Liverpool versus Man City. Quickly. We can start with you, Elma. Yeah.
I think Liverpool are going to be strong. I think they're going to win. I think Liverpool are going to win.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool have a stronger defense than Man City with Van Dijk and is it Matip who plays? I think Matip. I think they have. I think also Milner will be there because I'm not so sure if Trent is also out.
Yeah, Trent is not available.
Milner is not a very attacking guy, so I think he'll just stay at the back. And the likes of Salah, Firmino, Jota, and Mane are going to be too much for the Man City defense. So I think it's going to be a tight game, but I think Liverpool will just edge it slightly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to be at the Copa, and I definitely think it's going to be a very interesting game, just as Man City and Liverpool games always are. This is the thing that I see. I think, of course, now that Trent is injured, I think Robertson is going to be the one who's going to be more of an attacking threat to City. As well in that kind of game. Definitely, and Liverpool are flying high at the moment. Of course, they drew at 3-3 against Brentford, but just from slapping someone 5-1 in the Champions League, and rested a couple of players as well, which is really good. Man City now needs to redeem themselves from that PSG loss as well. That they played good, but never got the result. They definitely need to redeem themselves, but also to stamp their authority upon defending the championship. So I think it's going to be a very good game. However, I kind of feel, especially being at Anfield, Liverpool may slightly edge, but let's wait and see.
Okay. Interestingly, the last three encounters that these teams have had, Man City has come away twice with the victory, 4-0 and 4-1 win, both at Etihad and at the Cop. And then the other time at the Etihad, they played out a 1-1 draw. So the numbers are in favor of Man City in terms of in the league, they've had the upper hand. But then for me, I feel like a draw would be the perfect result in this match. Neither of them gets the upper hand, and they all decide to wait for everyone else to come and catch up with them. But yeah, I expect a really good game. So we look at it from an FPL perspective right now as we switch to the other FPL conversation when we're looking at our teams. But yeah, basically that's the program lineup for game week 7. It looks exciting. It looks like another weekend of blockbuster football. So let's sit back and enjoy. I think we can transition into looking at our teams just to see how our teams are shaping up for game week 7 and maybe what are some of the moves we can make to prepare for that. We can start with my team. I always go last, so maybe it's time for me to go first. Yeah, so as you can see, that's my team at the moment. This is the exact same team that fetched me 63 points in game week 6. I've not yet made any change to it, except my captain option at this point in time. I've stripped off the goat of the captain and placed it on Vardy. The only thing that's worrying me about my team is the fact that I have 3 players playing the exact same match. That's Cancelo, Robertson, and Salah. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't know. I'm a bit worried about that, considering it can be a very cagey affair. Yeah. But generally, my team remains the same. I like the Arsenal assets. Odegaard, I'm hoping maybe at some point to upgrade him to Saka or Smith Rowe because, of course, they are getting the direct chances. But then I'm comfortable to go with Odegaard for this one and just see whether he'll put himself in a bit more dangerous positions for that match. And I'm excited about Jimenez. He got his goal. I'm sure he'll be eager to continue that run. So hopefully Newcastle will give him the opportunity. And yeah, that's how my team looks like. I don't know if you have any thoughts or questions or ideas.
And look, good setup. I think that's a good enough team, and to really push you through game week 7 to just stay right up there in the leagues. I'm not too sure about Captain Vardy, especially with Crystal Palace and how of late have been a bit tight and not really conceding. Tight at the back, so I don't know. But yeah, I think that's an interesting conversation to have in the captain picks.
Yeah, the only transfer I'm thinking about at this point in time is to ship out Robertson and bring in Alonso, so that I want to spread my risk. Like I said, I have 3 players playing the exact same match. I don't know whether that can be to my advantage or disadvantage. At this point, it's feeling like a disadvantage. So I don't intend to spend the extra money elsewhere. So if I do a quick switch for game week 7, I still have the money to decide whether I want to bring back Robertson or whether I want to keep Alonso. So at this point, I'm weighing and I'm thinking that's the move that I'm going to go with. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. I don't know if Elma has any comments to Daniel's team.
Elma, any comments, any thoughts?
The team is looking good. The only problem, I think, what if Liverpool and Man City score, if the game ends 1-1, could be disadvantages to you. But if the game ends 0-0, I think you'll be feasting points there. So can work both sides. I think the rest of the team is definitely okay.
But a nil-nil result is it sounds like fantasy. It's like, I know it's fantasy football, but that sounds like fantasy.
For such a game, that would be so underwhelming.
It would be so boring. It would be such a boring game. But it can be an entertaining nil-nil. You know, we've had a few entertaining nil-nils before.
Unless they just fail to convert chances like Bernardo Silva against PSG, just hitting the crossbar at will.
Yeah. And you imagine how accurate you have to be to hit the crossbar at that point from that position. That's a supernatural level of accuracy, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we can go to Elma's team maybe and see what he has in store for game week 7. Elma, looks like you need a trip to the ICU right there.
Yeah, so the only problem I have with my team, I think it's the defense. As you can see, there are so many injuries because Shaw, Trent, James, Ayling, so many injuries in defense.
Ayling is even
I bought
Ayling.
in James last week, but it hasn't planned out. I brought in James last week. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury also. So my plan hasn't worked for him. But I don't know what to do with the defense. But my plan is to try and bring in Lukaku. I think it's time to say goodbye to Fernandes. And I think I'll also try to bring someone to the defense who also looks good for, who assures clean sheets and someone who can play. So the rest of the team is just going to, yeah.
I want to ask, have you wildcarded yet? Have you played your wildcard yet?
No, not yet. I haven't used anything yet. I still have all my chips.
And are you planning to use your wildcard for this game week 7, or you have 2 free transfers?
Yeah, I have 2 free transfers. Yeah, I usually make sure I have 2 free transfers just in case anything happens. Yeah. I think it's usually a good practice to have 2 free transfers just in case anything happens.
Yeah, I honestly have never experienced that privilege yet. I'm yet to know what it feels like to have 2 free transfers. I just survive on the one. But yeah, bring back Elma's team. It looks interesting. I like that midfield. I feel like that midfield is except for maybe Fernandez. But of course, on his day he will come good. On his day he will come good. But
And he could come good against Everton.
the challenge here is, for example, you have three guys playing the same match and another three guys playing the same match. Have you seen that? Because you have Salah, Jota, and Trent who are in the same match, but then Trent is injured. And then you have Shaw, Fernandez, and Gray playing the same match, and Shaw is injured. So I think, and then your bench is all injured. So I think you'll be forced into that double change of that defense, getting rid of Shaw and Trent to bring in some new energy there. I don't know how you'll work out the Lukaku transfer unless you're willing to take a -4 or a minus. Maybe a -4. So that
I'll have to take a -4 because I think I'll remove Shaw for like someone like Livramento who's like 4.2 million. Plays every game. He looks decent. Then also take out Bruno for a cheaper option like Rafinha. And then boost Perica to Shaw so I can play with 3 strikers, 4 midfielders, and 3 defenders.
Three defenders.
That's what I'm thinking of doing.
That looks like a plan. It sounds like a plan. I can't wait to see your team on the review show. We see how that turns out. Okay, I think we can finish with we can. And currently your captain unband is on Salah. Maybe that will change when you bring in Lukaku. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in the captain conversation. Let's look at Kabale's team. Oh, I did guys' team, and then we can finish from there.
I mean, this is the thing. My team is in ICU, as you can see.
Hey, your bench.
Serious ICU.
Your bench looks like a mortuary.
I think it's actually just twisting my arm to because I'm to wildcard, and I was actually planning to wildcard after the international break, because after game week 7 we have an international break. I am being forced. However, I'm going to try and still play around it. I have 2 free transfers. Fernandez has to go. No, I mean, he's done too much damage for me. I don't care whether he gives a 15 or 20 point haul in game week 7. I'm tired. I'm so tired.
That's where you're spending your free transfer, and your team looks like this.
No, I mean, this is the thing, Rafinha definitely, he was flagged last week, but I mean, he still played. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing Bielsa's, press conference. He was flagged yellow last week, but still played and scored as well. So, I think he's still gonna play. I think it's Shaw who definitely has to come out, and Bamford, as well. So I'm gonna take my first hit of the season. I'm going to take my first hit of the season. Take a -4, definitely to take Fernandez out. We're going to have a very interesting conversation, of course, as we look at who to bring in the striking force. But I'm personally thinking of bringing in Ronaldo. I know many people are jumping off him, but we're going to get there as we talk about it a bit later on. But Fernandez to Ronaldo, and of course Bamford out. And then, of course, I think I'm gonna bring in Sa, especially because of how expansive Leeds defense is in terms of not defending. They're just not defending at all. I think I'm gonna bring in Sa. This is all just in preparation for me to this is just for game week 7 as I prepare to play my wildcard and activate it in game week 8. And then, of course, I'm thinking of Shaw out. Still not yet sure on who I should bring in, but I'm probably thinking of a Chelsea defender, most likely Rudiger, or Thiago, but most likely Rudiger, especially for that game. I just think Southampton may not necessarily penetrate through that Chelsea defense. But that's
so you
more or less what
you want to double up. You want to double up on the Chelsea defense.
Yeah, definitely. Brownhill is definitely going to be on my bench. He's not going to be in the starting 11. But captain. I'm definitely not. I'm still thinking of Salah, because I think Salah is on form. He could be a differential captain for this game week. As much as Man City are not a very pushover, but Salah is scoring goals left, right, and center. I could actually really considering him if I don't put it Ronaldo, who I'm planning on bringing in. Definitely Salah is actually top of my head now.
I think the only advice I can have for you, if possible, because you have 2 free transfers, I would say try as much as possible not to take that hit. For me, I feel like because you're already planning to wildcard come game week 8, I feel like you have no guarantee, for example, that Ronaldo will outperform Fernandes for game week 7 fixture. So it's almost a 50-50 flip for you to have either Ronaldo or Fernandes. So for you to take a hit to exchange one for the other without said guarantee at a cost of -4, that means even if you bring Ronaldo and he scores 1 goal and it's possibly assisted by Bruno, you end up having done 0 work, because you've just worked for your 2 points. So I feel it would be wiser to just sacrifice and decide, it is what it is. You have come this far without Ronaldo. What's one more game? So instead of taking that hit, and then your 2 transfers, work on your defense like you had planned, and maybe your midfield like you had thought of bringing in Sa, and decide, you never know again whether Bruno could be the guy who stars in the next game, because he has something to prove now because he cost them the last match. Of course, he's a bit anxious to do something, and you saw what happened with Lingard. He cost them the game against Young Boys, and then he came to score the winner against West Ham. So you can't rule out. Such a thing.
I try and say karma.
No, I'm trying to say you can't rule out such a thing happening. But then for you to take a hit to switch Fernandes to Ronaldo, I feel is not a good move. You'd rather just stick with Fernandes and wildcard in your game week 8 team and have the players that you want.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll definitely take that into consideration.
Yeah. Remember our rules, our 10 commandments of FPL. You try as much as possible not to take a hit, because a hit more often than not costs you more than it benefits you. Because that -4, it means the player you're bringing has to score maybe at 12 points or something like that, so that you are 8 points to the good, So, and that's something that you can't really guarantee,
That's right.
But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on the review show whether this was a moment of brilliance or whatnot.
I hope so.
But yeah, that's basically how our teams are shaping up for game week 7. Let's have now the big conversation, of course, the captain conversation. As you have seen, my armband is on Vardy. As you have seen, Elman's armband is on Salah, right? And Ideal's guy armband is on Salah. Of course, you guys have talked about if you make the transfers that you're planning to make, the captain choice might change in the next 2 days or so. So who are the favorites for captain game week 7? Who are the players who are being touted as the favorites for captain for game week 7? Let's start there.
I think first of all we'll talk about Lukaku. None of us has Lukaku at the moment, but however, most of the people are actually just trying to bring in Chelsea assets, but most especially Lukaku. I think he's due a goal. However, this is my fear. My fear is Chelsea are not creating a lot. They're clinical, however, they're not creating a lot. So that's my fear about Captain Lukaku. Of course, they face Southampton, who of late have been a bit solid defensively, but they're not considered too many goals.
You're pegging Lukaku to be the favorite for game week 7.
I think
most captain player.
I think he could actually be the most captain player this game week.
What do you think, Elma?
I think Ronaldo is definitely a good captain. I think he's going to be the most captained alongside Lukaku. I think United have a point to prove at Old Trafford. So I think Ronaldo is going to score goals. And I think if we get a penalty again, Ronaldo most likely is going to take it. So I think
that's actually a
Ronaldo
very
is the
big
best
argument.
captain.
That's a very big argument, whether he'll actually take the penalty or not, But I like this conversation, because definitely we are seeing this pattern of guys are jumping ship from Ronaldo to Lukaku in preparation for that run of fixture. When you see the FDR rating, Chelsea is all greens all the way. And I think our guy has already gone ahead of us to look at. So basically, it's looking like it's pitted Lukaku versus Ronaldo. Those who are Ronaldo owners, we're trying to argue why you might not want to get rid of Ronaldo just yet. Those who are Lukaku owners, of course, they know why they might want to even trust him with the armband. So let's look at this comparison between Lukaku and Ronaldo. Who is the better option? Ideal guy. Let's look at the comparison.
I mean, of course, big up to Fantasy Football Hub for the stats, Optus stats that we're using today. I mean, we had an interesting conversation, of course, about this Lukaku versus Ronaldo, saga. Of course, now we can see clearly Lukaku has very beautiful fixtures just coming up. Southampton, Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle, and Burnley. These are all teams that definitely you could imagine that there could be goals. And Ronaldo doesn't have too many appealing fixtures. Everton, these guys are going on a run. Everton, Leicester, Liverpool, Tottenham, Man City. Who would think this is, this is definitely a very tough one. But this is the thing. I mean, stats never lie. I mean, let's just look at some of their stats, of course, so far in the season. Of course, Lukaku having 27 points so far, and 21 points Ronaldo. I think Lukaku having one more
game,
having played one more game. Lukaku, they both scored 3 goals. However, the interesting thing that is there is Ronaldo having a higher XG than Lukaku, meaning expected goals, having a higher expected goals, having
in actually one less match.
In one less match, imagine. What does that tell you? It's telling you that he's actually getting a lot of big chances towards him. He's actually getting he's being provided for a lot. So, and definitely the potential as well for him to be provided for, compared to Lukaku's 0.6 XG, which I think definitely is low. And as I mentioned as well earlier, they're having they're really struggling. As you can see there, of course, Lukaku's XG is 2.1, and in the game so far, and we have 2.8 as well for Ronaldo, and points. I mean, XG per game as well is 0.95 for Ronaldo and 0.43, shockingly, for Lukaku. But this is where
Sorry to interrupt, but I feel like just to interpret a bit, when you say XG, maybe not everyone will understand, but when XG says 2.17 and the other 2.85, it basically means that in a game, in 90 minutes, Ronaldo is likely to score 2 goals, 2.85 goals, and Lukaku is likely to score 2.17 goals, which, of course, like you've said, translates to the chances afforded. It looks like Ronaldo is being afforded more chances to score as opposed to Lukaku, considering Lukaku has played one more game, one extra game, that of Ronaldo. Okay. Anything else we can talk about?
2 big stats for me. Big chances, as we've talked about, that per game, Lukaku is getting 0.6 big chances. And Ronaldo is getting 1.67 big chances per game. Definitely a big kind of gap right there. And then the second I want us to look at is just the shots. The shots on target have 1.2 per game for Lukaku and 2.3 per game for Ronaldo. And definitely, of course, we know for you to be able to score, you need to be on target. So I think for me, those are really big stats that I actually just look at and compare these two and see. Yes, Ronaldo has a tougher fixture run coming up. However, I think the chances are coming a lot to him. Doesn't negate the fact that Lukaku won't score goals. Yes, he will. But in my thinking, stats are definitely proving that Ronaldo is.
And you know what's very interesting is that Elma was just saying that Manchester United are not creating good chances, but Elma, as you can see from the stats, that's not really the case.
But if you see the pictures, Lukaku has already played. Lukaku has played Liverpool. They have played Man City. United have not yet played a big team because now we are going to play big teams now. So we'll see whether he'll still get
Oh yeah,
the
that's
support.
actually That's actually a very big point. That's a very good point. It's actually a game changer of a point, because
Yeah.
maybe the issue with Chelsea is the fact that they are now coming into their run of facing small teams where maybe we can see these stats improving for Lukaku in terms of shots, in terms of big chances presented to him. Whereas now Manchester United are getting into that phase of facing the tough fixtures. So we can see those numbers go down in terms of the chances being afforded to him. So that also will play a part. We can play a part for sure. So thank you, Elma, for pointing that out. And so I guess this conversation can be settled with form or fixture. It's like, do we go for a player's form or pedigree? In this case, Ronaldo being the one on form, when you look at those stats, and his pedigree being he's an elite striker. But then also, do we go with fixture in terms of Lukaku has the fixtures in his favor? He's not so much on form, but then when you see both of them have scored 3 goals. So of course, him in one more match compared to Ronaldo. But then also, when you look at him as a striker, he also has some pedigree. He's not the most elite striker yet, but he has some pedigree in terms of he know where the back of the net is.
Yeah.
So, do we favor form or fixture? I think that's what might likely determine.
Fixture probably, but I mean Ronaldo can score in any fixture either way. He was brought to score in the big games as well. So of course you can look at the fixtures, but yeah, I think for mostly look at the fixtures, not necessarily form.
Okay, Elma, form or fixture?
I think I also go for fixture because the fixture is also important. Because Lukaku was blanked in the hard fixtures but performs in the easy fixtures. So I think fixtures is the thing to look for.
Yeah,
Easier
especially
fixtures
when
like Arsenal.
you look at that Chelsea Norwich game, that looks like a Lukaku hat trick right there.
Yeah, yeah. He just bully them left, right,
He's
center.
gonna bully them all over the place. The
Yeah.
keeper will have to get some ropes to tie him down or something. All right, so those are the two favorite options. Let's look at maybe some differential options as we close the discussion. So I have one of the differential options who have actually I'm with in that conversation of Lukaku and Kane. For me, my decision is for game week 7. I'm sticking with Ronaldo just to see, because even when you look at that FDR rating, sorry, that fixture is grey for Southampton. It's not necessarily red. For Everton, sorry, it's not necessarily red. It's grey. So it means it could go either way. So I'm just waiting to see whether Ronaldo will want to respond in this fixture. But then come game week 8, I think I'm also jumping ship. I'll also go for the fixtures. But yeah, so a differential option, you can say I have Vardy, who I'm thinking of giving him the armband. It's of course debatable whether he can produce like he did for game week 6, scoring 2 goals for Leicester, but he's definitely a differential option. What do you think about him as a captain option?
I think it's definitely a good option. However, I'm just worried about as much as of course Leicester are conceding a lot of goals. Yeah, I just wonder how much they're gonna keep that up. Of course, in the coming game weeks. But Vardy looks like a very interesting differential option if you are actually looking for one, especially because of form. Of course, now this is where you come form of a fixture. He's
Yeah.
on form, so yeah,
And he has a good fixture. It is a good fixture actually.
yeah,
In the FDR rating, it's considered a good fixture for Leicester.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, the other outside captain is Captain Antonio. So far, he has, except for that one cameo where he got a red card, he has pretty
He's been
pretty
good.
much, yeah, he has pretty much rewarded the captainship faith. Elma, what do you think about Captain Antonio against Brentford?
I think Antonio is a good captain. I'm sure they're going to play better than us against Villa. I think they're going to score. I think Antonio and Benrama have been good. Um, Antonio will definitely score in that game. Also, I think
Yeah.
he'll score 2 goals, in fact. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's a good captain to have.
So maybe he should be the one you bring instead of Lukaku. Because you are sure he will score 2 goals.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll score 2, but I don't. Lukaku is a safer option.
Uh, okay, we'll look at the review show and maybe we'll play you the clip once Lukaku blanks. Once Lukaku blanks and then Antonio scores a hat trick. All
I
right,
hope
and
not. I hope
the
not.
last differential option, okay, not the last, second last is we've talked about him, Kane. Do you think it is so wild to captain Kane for this fixture against Aston Villa?
Not really. I think they definitely need to come good. Spurs generally as a team. However, and at the end of the goals for Tottenham is definitely probably gonna be Kane. I think, as Elma mentioned, he definitely needs to start his season at this point in time. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad shout altogether. Yeah.
Okay, but I doubt anyone would be owning Kane over Lukaku at this point in time. So I'm sure his ownership itself is enough to make him a very significant differential in
Yeah.
anyone's team who has him right now. The
Yeah.
last differential option is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang against Brighton. What do you think
Uh,
about Aubameyang as a captain option? Elma, I'll jump right to you. You seem to be amused by that option.
uh, for me, I honestly think Brighton will burst the bubble. I don't think
Uh-huh.
Arsenal will beat Brighton. I don't think so. I think Brighton will be too much for you because
So do you think we Arsenal will not score at all, let alone winning? Because in the captain conversation,
um
it's not about winning the match; it's about scoring goals.
oh
So it's one thing for Brighton to win 3-2 and Aubameyang to have a brace. That means he's still a good captain.
I think the game will finish 1-0. I don't think you guys will score. I
Okay,
think
okay.
it will be a tough match for you
Interesting.
guys.
We've
Yeah.
recorded this. We're recording this. We're gonna play this on the review show.
All right. I guess that cancels out Aubameyang as a differential from in Elma's book. For me, I think he's a
Yeah.
differential. I had Aubameyang in game week 5. I shipped him out for Vardy in game week 6. If I still had him in my team, I think he would be a good consideration. But yeah, I don't know if very few people have Aubameyang at this point in time. So yeah, not a very practical captain option, let alone selection, making it to the selection in our teams. So yeah, I guess we're working with the flip of a coin between Ronaldo and Lukaku, the more favorable option being Lukaku. But then we've talked about the likes of Mikel Antonio being perhaps very good differential options. So let's wait and see how the game week plays out. I think we have maybe one or two comments which we can just look at and respond to, and then we'll call it quits. So we have that comment over there. I'll have Elma. Elma, you can take that comment.
Um. Yeah. True. I think Leicester will
No,
bounce
you
back.
can read it. You can read it first, then you respond.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Leicester City are yet to find their rhythm, but they will bounce back. Yeah. I think Leicester, once all their players click, I think they'll be good to go. I think they are. The only problem I have with Leicester, I think they usually have one style of play, which is just pass the ball forward and Vardy will reach the ball. So I'm sure if they are able to change that system, I think they'll be good. Yeah.
I think that is an insult to the brilliance of Brandon Rogers, being recognized as one of the stylish managers in modern football. But okay, I think I like that. That encourages me to hold on maybe to Captain Vardy. I can read this one from also Nelson. Liverpool are the underdogs who are not being spoken in the title race. I agree. We had a very heated conversation about this this aspect today. Uh, Liverpool with an outside chance. Of course, they'll always have a chance, but I think for me, it was boiling down to squad depth. I was looking at that Liverpool squad, and I'm like, I feel like Liverpool are relying too much on that first team, on that first 11. It's like miss 2 players or 3 players from that first 11, and it's no longer the same team. And you saw the effect that perhaps having your key players had on Arsenal in the start of the season. So I don't know if Liverpool have the cushion to survive, not having Salah for like 4 game weeks, or not having Mane for like 4 game weeks, or not having Van Dijk for like 4 game weeks. I don't know. I don't know if they have, because when you look at that Chelsea side, they look like they can withstand anything, even a hurricane at this point, or Hurricane himself. So so for me, it boils down to squad depth for Liverpool. That's the challenge. But of course, if they stay fit, they're definitely up there as contenders. What do you guys think?
No, definitely Liverpool are, for me, are still contenders. I think we always forget, Liverpool's. This is the same squad that still won the league, won the Champions League. Just a few changes here and there. So, same manager. Last season definitely was a dip, but we still forget as well. Even with them having a dip, last season they still finished third, as well. So
Sorry, I think his network has frozen out right there. All right, but that's basically it. Elma, we were talking about Liverpool as title contenders. What do you think as we close up?
Yeah, I think Liverpool are a good team. I think they're going to perform well. The point you mentioned about them being reliant on the forward line, I think it's true. They don't have the squad depth like Man City and Man City and Chelsea. So I think
Chelsea,
it's going to
yeah,
be difficult for them in a way.
yeah. All right, so that's it. That's it basically for our preview for game week 7. I mean, at this point, it's getting serious. It's getting serious now. The decisions are so weighty. That's why I'm telling you guys, before taking a hit, hey, you might want to think long and hard, because the league is literally separated by 1 point or 2 points. The difference when you look at the worldwide ranking, the difference between you being 10,000 and 50,000, it's possibly those 4 points. 4 points can be a world of difference in terms of your ranking. So you only take a hit when it is a must. It's like at this point you have no other choice. Other than that, I'm excited to see what the game week brings our way. Thank you so much for participating and coming on the show, Elma. We look forward to having you a bit more often, and maybe we can grow together in this
Yeah.
journey. Yeah, so thank you. We are glad to have you. And yeah, that's it from me. I don't know if you guys have any parting shot.
No.
all the best in Game Week 7.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us, whoever has managed to catch up with the show today. And we really appreciate your support, your company. And yeah, thank you so much. As you watch, remember to like, share with, whomever you think the conversation can benefit from an FPL point of view. And we definitely appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And that's it from us. Peace out.
Bye.